Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 167. Iliya here, and as always, really grateful to have you on the Trading Fanatic channel. You know what we're going to do in this video. We're going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, make a little forecast for what could potentially happen next week. Currently, we are trading in a very volatile conditions. We have the war going on, we have a CPI increasing, we have interest rates potentially being hiked, we have a lot of fear into the market. So we have a lot of up and down moves. We have like big consolidations followed by a huge move up, huge move down. Rather confusing right now, but this is the time that we're trading. So it's really important to follow strict risk management and to just be patient and follow your trading plan. My week was good. I'm going to show you the trades I took. I took 2 trades in total. I'm going to break them down on Euro USD, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I plan to share more in investing very soon. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I give my best to share either a trading setups breakdown video or an educational one. So make sure you are subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when the videos come out. And if you already did, let's head into the analysis. As always, we're gonna get started with $1, but before we do that, I want to shout out my amazing broker, Forex.com. They are great. They have all the assets, all the cryptocurrencies, all the currencies with amazing spreads. They also have 2 types of accounts, but I request that you open your eco account. You're gonna pay a little bit of commission, but every single lot that you trade will go towards planting 10 trees. And Forex are documenting their progress and processes on their website with planting the tree, so make sure to check them out. Link is down in the description. Visit them, have a look what they're doing, the first eco broker, and open your eco account. So Dixie, very interesting situation right now. Just looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that we did not have much of a development, right? We had that previous weekly candle of a very nice pullback that threw the market below 50% of the weekly and also came back to retest a very important weekly zone right there. Right, so this week we tried to push up, but what we had is just the market consolidating for the majority of the days, which we're going to see right now on the 4H. So pretty much what I can say from the weekly is that the dollar is bullish, right? And if I just quickly take you on the other side, we can see that the current rate is 3.25 basis points. They hiked this in September, so there we also spotted that the CPI rose by the expectation was 6.3, but it went to 6.6. Right, so inflation is hiking, and there was a lot of fear that the Fed are actually gonna go even more aggressive. So I do expect another rate hike, right? And if this happens, then of course the dollar is gonna keep appreciating in value, right? So getting in back into the chart, absolutely bullish for quite a while. The DIX is going to the moon. It's actually a much better investment to just buy dollar. Look at that massive move up. So yes, well, I would overall expect for further continuations, but right now if we start dropping to the lower time frame, it's gonna be a little bit tough, right? So on the daily, yes, on the daily we had this overall push up. The market pulled back beautifully, and right now it's trying to push up, which is very good. So where did we open this week? Yeah, 10th, right there. So you can see 10th, like little bullish candle, rejection candle to the downside, indecision candle. Then we had the madness on Thursday, like up down, and then Friday overall kind of tries to push higher. So just looking at this price, it still looks like a push, pullback, push. The market right now is just grabbing some liquidity, pulling back, and potentially can we push into the highs? Well, this is what I would like to see. Okay, I don't stay too much on the daily, but you remember that we also refined that daily zone to this range because this is the range that initiated the price higher. We came back, retested that range. You can see that we also have a little bit of a minor structure right there with this bullish pullback. This also shifted up. And yeah, you can even say that you have a brand new daily range. The market hasn't pulled back yet to the 50%. So yeah, we can do this. This could be another scenario, like even a deeper pullback before the move higher. But of course, right now, I would like to go to the most important time frame to me, which is the 4H. Right, and the 4H is tricky right now. Just look at this, right? Just look at that. It wasn't the best price to be trading. There was also a lot of divergence between the DXY and EU. Like EU was EU and the DXY moved in the same direction for a little period of time, which is absolutely strange, right? So if I really zoom in, I had this supply zone on the left that the market was reacting from, but we can see that this supply zone was not strong, right? So we came in, responded, came in, responded, came in, responded, came in again. And you can see how like it's taking all the orders from this one, and at the end it just broke it But yeah, then we just had like this madness. So I tried to follow the 4-hourly ranges. We had like a break right there. The market pullback, tried to push, failed. So then to me, this wick became the higher low because it also came in to retest this little zone. Yeah, not entirely, but yeah, if we take like the whole range, we can see that this sell to buy got retested right there, then it pushed and made a structure break. But what we saw afterwards is that the market actually broke lower. So currently we have a bearish structure in the Dixie, and it's a bit hard to pick like the supply zone. I would pick this little supply zone right there, and this is how I'm gonna pretty much end my 4-hourly analysis, because there is nothing much to say right now. The market has shifted a little bit bearish on the 4H, and we know that on the daily we can have that little pullback, because we saw on the daily we have this overall range right now. 50% is a little bit below. So can we have one more 4-hourly leg lower and then to start shifting and then to expand higher? Right? We never know. You know, Monday opens and it usually does something completely the opposite, but this is how I'm currently looking at it. Okay. We had this overall bullish structure, the market grabbed liquidity, shifted into the downside, and right now it's pulling back. But you can see the development already, like we have this huge wick right there, which if I drop on the 50-minute is just madness, right? So it broke up, it broke down, and right now it's breaking back up. So if I'm looking for shorts, I would be looking for the 50-minute to align. So there is a 50-minute break, there is the next 50-minute break, and pull back. Well, yeah, I will be looking really for the 50-minute to start trending bearishly. Maybe we threw another push into the highs. Then if it starts shifting lower, then I would like to start going short, because to me right now the 4-hourly is bearish, and this is my highest important time frame. But if we break above, then I'm going to be looking for a retest at a continuation higher. So again, just to wrap it up, this is currently how I view the Dixie. I'm going to be waiting a little bit to really judge the market sentiment on Monday. Overall, higher time frames are bullish, right? But in order for the market to start rocketing higher, we are going to need some power, which might be an interest rate hike or some sort of news that might come out. So for the short term, I do get the feeling we might have a little bit of a run to the downside, but if not, then I will see the break. This will be a 4-hourly break, and then I'm just going to continue following the longs. Okay, so that's the Dixie. Let's have a look at EU. All right, let's have a look at Mr. EURUSD, my favorite pair. But before we do that, I want to invite you on an amazing webinar, guys, on the 25th of November. Link will be down in the description. Make sure to come enroll. There are going to be also prices included in the webinar, but we're going to cover some passive income strategies with crypto, DeFi, and all of that great stuff, because I really want to learn about this. And I partnered up with an amazing company, Crypto Street Academy, that we partnered up together. So I would love to invite you on their webinar, which we're going to host together, to actually learn some amazing stuff. So I really hope to see you there. Link is down in the description. Okay, so EURUSD, well, we can see that the weekly time frame is absolutely bearish. We have been creating lower lows and lower highs very beautifully, and last lower high we had on the weekly was this. We had that 1 week that just massively pumped into the highs and closed very strangely. Like, this is a massive pin bar. And what I usually say about wicks, well, they tend to get retested like around 25. We actually got a 25 retest, I believe. Yeah, look at that. So perfect 25 retest. And we try to push lower, but we are failing. Okay, so very indecisive. If you really look at like the wicks and the candles right now, very indecisive. And also this week was rather indecisive. Of course, we know that the overall expectation is to go short, mainly because first, interest rate differentials 3.25 and we have 1.25. Like, I mean, the ECB should take some action, I think. They hiked it with 75 basis points, but in August. Right, so September, we're already October, November is gonna come in, and the ECB is still lagging. So the longer they keep lagging like this, the more the euro is gonna flush, and it's currently like at 0.97, which is insane, right? So that is from the weekly. We're pretty bearish. If we try to drop on the daily, well, we have that same situation as with the Dixie. We had that retest, we have that nice reaction, but right now the market looks like it's reacting from some sort of a demand right there, which we can explore on the 4H as well. Reacted very nicely, and right now it's kind of pulling back a little bit. So the current positioning of price, to me, positioning is also very important. Are we like above 50%, below 50%? Are we at the extremes, or are we in the middle, right? So currently we are not really kind of in the middle, but we are in the lower portion of things. And yeah, we're just, you can see, pull back into the middle, rejecting a little bit. It's not at the highs where we have a highest probability for short, but it's, yeah, just crossing 50%. So yes, it can continue going lower, right? But it's gonna need some power, right? And if we expect the Dixie to also make that little daily pullback, this one can also do something like this. So daily time frame does not give me a lot of data, right? I just don't see anything important on the daily, which is why I always love just following on the 4H, right? So if we actually go right here on the left, this was our 4-hourly leg right there, and the 4-hourly structure got broken precisely right here. We got like little pullbacks right there. We had another structure break right there, right? The market then pulls back, another structure break right there, right? So we're just following structure, very simple, right? And then you can see, boom, we had a bullish break, right? So this was the very confusing part of EU. On the 4-hourly, it just kept ranging and just kept shifting structure up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Then we have a structure shift down there, right? We were first bullish, the market pulled back, tried to respond, shifted bearish, then pulls back, and then we have this huge wick, right? This huge wick right there, took the lows, then took the highs. And overall, yeah, we can say that the structure break was here, but I can just take the major break, which is right there. So if we ask the important question, what is the structure right now on EU? Well, it's bullish, right? It's bullish. And we have this big, enormous demand zone, right? So that is very big. So usually what I'm going to do is just take either the body or even take the wick. The wick is too little, so I'm just going to take the body, right? And let's see, where are we actually responding from, right? What I don't like is that we were responding from this zone for quite a while, right? You can see first tap, second tap, third tap, right? And then it actually went on and faked it, right? Broke below it, and then it broke higher, okay? But pretty much we see that we also have this daily zone right there, this sell to buy, right? And if we actually ask, okay, what caused the break of structure? We had like a break here and then this push. So pretty much, if you really want to refine it, it's this guy right there, but this guy did not tap. So very hard to even read the higher time frames right now on EU, right? But if I just focus right now, we have similar to the Dixie, we shifted bullish on the short term in an overall bearish market. So what is gonna happen? Is EU gonna seek like a higher price or maybe a supply zone like this? I don't know, right? Nobody knows right now. So what we can simply do is keep going with the flow. So currently we have this push, we have this overall pullback, like the market tapped, rejected, tried to push, fail, and just took out this low, right? At the same candles, like it was massive on Friday. Very fortunately, just before heading outside of home for a whole day, I took this little long trade right there that actually made my week profitable, and I just forgot about it later, and I'm pretty happy I didn't trade on that day because it was very insane, right? So you can see as we have this zone right there, there is no liquidity within the zone. So what does that mean is that the market is going to generate its own, and you can see it taps, it gives you the shift, but then it comes in, takes your stop loss, and then it just continues to range. So this to me right now is just building up the liquidity, right? So if I am to go long next week, I'm on the 50-minute right now, and I don't usually do this on Saturday, right? Because Monday can open up there and it's going to be completely like different. So what I would like to see is a deeper tap inside that zone. Have a look at this. We have a little zone right there. And then, for example, the 50-minute to start shifting higher. And this is only when I'm going to go long. Okay. So for now, I am extra patient, and actually I just don't have anything that I'm looking for right now. Even on the 50-minute, even if you zoom in, you don't want to trade this up, down, and right now precisely it's just shopping around market close. So give it some time. Okay, so short-term structure is bullish, short-term structure is bearish on the Dixie. Let's see if they're gonna respond, right? If the Dixie goes bearish and EU goes bullish, I do think we can have a nice opportunity for a nice move into the highs, and then from here we can start adapting and see what's gonna happen. Okay, so this is my outlook on EU right now. Looking forward to see how Monday is gonna play out. Regarding my performance this week, Monday and Tuesday was a very good day to trade, but it was just not clean, right? So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, right? So Tuesday, a couple of longs along the way. So we shifted structure right there. There was a long right here, right? Then there was a long right there. Did I take a long right there? I don't remember. I'm gonna show you what I took. Right now, the first trade I took while I was outside of home, I took it from the phone, and usually then I do some funny lot sizes, right? So luckily it was a stop loss, but I lost very, very little. So we had this overall kind of bullish market on the 4H, right? We pull back, the Asian range was very nice, in fact. Then we break above the Asian range, we pull back, and then we push higher, but look at that push higher, it failed to break the high. Then this means to me, okay, red signal, this one is gonna get taken. It got taken, tapped into my demand zone, but then you can see it didn't give me an immediate entry, but it started pushing away, right? And if I just jump on the 1 minute right now to show you how I execute, it was not the best, right? It's not the best, because even if you can see, this was my range and I executed my trade above the 50%, which is something that I don't usually do. But I was also monitoring, okay, where is the actual break? Well, the actual break occurred right there, because this whole 1 minute push was one range, right? This failed to break the range. It pulled back, it actually held, and then started chop around. And it was this sell to buy that actually caused the break. So I was on my phone, I was looking also on my laptop, I was doing lecture, and I was like, okay, that looks good, so let me just take a small trade. So I took it from there. Stop loss was below. Gave a little response and just hit stop loss, reacted, and then it actually went towards the zone that I should have traded from, right below 50%. And yeah, it started providing some sort of stuff, but it is just unclean, right? I was then looking at this shift, but how can I trade from all of that zone, right? I mean, it's not clear, it's not precise. You need to have like just a random stop loss and a random entry. So I just didn't trade anymore that day. And yeah, I do think at the end, yeah, at the end it didn't play out, right? Just responded, boom, 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 it went into the lows, right? So that was Wednesday. Tuesday, I couldn't manage to take a long right there. I hesitated on one long, I remember. Thursday, no trades at all for me. Like it shifted, went up, then it went down. This was the CPI day, so it was definitely not tradable, very hard to catch something. And on Friday, just before heading outside of home, I spotted, yes, the market is bullish. The 15 minute is currently bullish. There is the 15-minute break. There was the demand zone right there that I wanted to trade from. And yeah, if I just plot my trade, there is the 15-minute shift to structure, also a major break right there. So I was just observing right there, and in the morning was doing my analysis for the team, for the Fanatics, and the market was already tapping into that zone, but I said that this is fake, right? We had a fake shift. Why? Because there is pretty much no liquidity has been taken, right? So then it came in, it took the liquidity, and as you can see, then it shifted up. So it was very quick shift up. The next two candles, the entry was already provided. So I entered from right there. Stop loss was below 3.5 pips, very good. And I took my profits at around this zone, 4.5R, because I was looking, it was very corrective, and London was about to open, right? So I just took my profits, called it a week, and this one was a full risk trade. Like the other one was 0.10%, this one was 0.50, which is usually my full risk. And yeah, this one was a pretty good one, made it profitable, which I'm very happy about. And then I just left out outside of home, so I'm very happy. I just took the profits and closed the laptop, because yeah, it would have been a break even immediately afterwards. So yeah, that's pretty much my trade. Two trades. The first one luckily was very low risk, and this one was full risk, so pretty happy about that. 2 more weeks into October, so let's hope we actually finish strong. Right now, with the bullish EU, let's carry on to have a look at EJ. We are going to see across the board that the JPYs are very strong, and this is due to USD JPY, right? The king, the Dixie of the JPYs. Very bearish, surprisingly just expanded into the highs like mad, and which of course this immediately takes all the JPYs into the highs as well. Well, as we forecasted, actually the weekly time frame was perfectly bullish on EJ. We had a push, we had a pullback, tap into weekly demand, and just textbook play out, right? Hard time frames, again, always a king. This one never actually broke lower. It never shifted bearish on the weekly. It just kept going higher and higher. Just break of structure right there, right? Just break of structure right there. It just keeps going higher, and I would expect another structure break right now, because we're very close, right? So weekly, absolutely bullish. Daily, so what we had on the daily is that aggressive tap, then a very massive reaction. So what I really didn't like is that this is a daily big V shape, right? So that is a lot of sellers coming in, and this is a lot of buyers, right? So this is a daily time frame, this is not the 1 minute, right? So if the daily just tapped right there and stayed for 1 day and then made all the move up, there were a lot of buy orders right there, right? So definitely makes sense. And then if we just take out this daily range, we can see that we did not really tap 50%, but I have spotted with the JPYs. I don't trade JPYs. Yeah, that's why, because they're a little bit erratic to me. Like the USD pairs are just a little bit more systematic, I found. I see that the JPY sometimes pull back much deeper, but they sometimes just pull back like to 30% and then just go, right? But we can see that on the daily, if this was the massive structure breakdown there, it caused the break right there. It took it out with a little wick. So immediately this turns bullish, so you have to wait for a pullback and a continuation. we can see Monday and Tuesday kind of chopped around. Wednesday made the move. Thursday threw a little bit of a wick where you can get your entry and then you get your profitable trade. Okay, so let's actually try to break it down on the 4H. Similarly to EU, the 4H shifted to bearish right there, but then we really have to zoom in and just follow the 4H, right? So we have a pullback, a break. There is another break right there. Then of course you ask the question, okay, what caused the break? Well, it's this, right? And you can let right there. So we shift structure right there. What caused the shift? This candle, there is your entry, bam, right? A little bit overnight, but just textbook delivery, right? Another break right there. Here, not really clear breaks because we do not have any ranges. So pretty much, again, it's this bearish candle that made the big zone. We pull back into it and just forgot about us, right? So pretty much, I think this right there is your highest probability trade this week. Then push, then pull back another one. Then it got very volatile. So I don't think you really got any entries right there. Very wicky, right? But the entries were probably somewhere right there, or if you just got into continuations. And you can see that the price, like intraday, it's not the best, right? I think JPY pairs are good for swing trading, for position trading, but for intraday, they might give you a headache. So right now we're just massively bullish. We have broken above a major, this is a daily high, right? A major daily high. And yeah, there is no valid 4-hourly high or low according to me right there. This is one little pullback candle, then it pushes, pullback candle with a high. Yeah, so I wouldn't really, maybe we can count this one as a little demand zone, but to me right now, the major high or low is this. So if I am to take a range, I would take something like this. If of course the market doesn't make like a couple of pullback candles right there and then breaks, then this is going to be a new range after a structure break. But for now, I consider Euro JPY to be within this big 4-hourly range. Okay, but again, as I told you, EJ or JPYs do not always pull back to 50%. So if we have a pullback towards this zone right there and a nice 15-minute shift, I will be looking for longs, right? So yeah, it's actually long buys right now on the 50 minutes. So there's the 50-minute break. So if you pull back towards this zone, you can also wait for another 50-minute shift from this zone right there. I will be interested to keep longing because the JPYs right now are absolutely strong. Okay, so that's EJ, absolutely bearish. Let's see if the Aussies are the same. Well, looking at the Aussie, it looks like a free fall. So we're having a very nice bearish engulfing. Yeah, it's not really engulfing because we just have been flushing down, but very nice bearish candle right there. Coming to revisit regions that we haven't been since 2020, right? I do think this is the COVID crash price action right there, massive recovery. And we're right now tapping into this weekly demand zone. Also 62. Right, so 62, 61, 60, those are three very strong key round numbers, psychological zones. So we can definitely expect some sort of a reaction. And yeah, just massively bearish. What can I say on the weekly? Nothing pretty much. And also what is tough to trade right now, I think Aussie dollar is a bit tough to trade. Like we had Monday, very nicely bearish. Tuesday gave a pullback, continued bearish. Wednesday chop. Thursday CPI just tapped, responded, and Friday actually continues with the move lower. So an overall bearish delivery, right? But then if I drop on the 4H, look at that. So this, to me personally, this is hard to read, right? This is very hard to read. We have this one candle of pullback right there, then it broke, then little retest, then it drops lower. Then to me, this one looks like a 4-hourly reversal, right? But then the market immediately goes and shifts to bearish. Then it continues to break structure lower right there. Oops. Continues to break structure lower right there. Taps it and then breaks structure higher right there. So technically right now, similar to the other pairs, like this one is short-term bullish, but just looking at this big bearish engulfing candle and already kind of into the extremes of this one, I just think this one is going to break lower. Okay, so pretty much when it comes to opportunities on AU, I don't know, probably after this break, we can possibly take like a candle like this as supply, right? Maybe make it a little bit smaller and then try to kind of see if we got anything from here, right there. So you can see Tokyo session, Asian session, came and took it out, show us a little bit of a retracement and came back and flushed. But to me then at that time, the 50-minute was bullish. So I wouldn't have taken this short because it doesn't tick my rules. So I really don't think there were great opportunities on AU. Maybe some of you guys took it. Let me know if you got some nice trades. Potential shorts right there on Friday because it took out the Asian high, then it shifted and then it gave like a couple of pullbacks, right? You can see around 1500, it usually tends to give like a nice protraction and then it just goes. But yeah, just looking at it right now, you can see that even this high got faked, right? So it's just throwing liquidity and just breaking up, breaking down, breaking up, breaking down. Not the best time to trade the Aussie. But yeah, let's see how we're gonna tap into this very big zone. Like, this is a very big zone, but to me right now, it's really just important to follow the 4-hourly time frame, right? Right now it is bullish, right? So we broke, we broke structure somewhere right here, right? It's not very clean. So let's see how it holds right there. And if it's gonna hold, we can be dropping to the 50-minute time frame already to see if we can catch like a little bit of a reversal trade. But I wouldn't really do that because I just think we can just break below. And then if we break below, you're gonna have bearish voyage, which is great, right? Bearish voyage, then this is gonna be supply, and then we are gonna have like a brand new range like this. So then we can start looking for short. Okay, so let's observe how Monday opens right there, and then we're gonna try to adapt on Tuesday, right? But overall, it was a little bit of mad price action this week on the Aussie. Yeah, we can see the JPY much stronger, but on the weekly it is indecisive, right? Because we see the Aussie dollar is very bearish, right? And AJ is having a hard time to push up. So definitely not a great time to be trading AJ right now. It's very rangy. It's not nice. It has a big conflict right now between AU and USD JPY. So overall on the daily, we have a breakout structure right there. We have a potential supply right there. So we pull back into supply and it looks like it wants to flush. So the daily time frame is bearish. The weekly is not bearish yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's very tough. This is a break. Then if we ask what caused the break, if you take this as a break, then cool. But I would even take this one as a major break. So we're still kind of tapping into demand. It's not very clean. And then if I drop on the 4H, well, the 4H was also not great to trade. Maybe you took some shorts along the way right there. But yeah, then pretty much all we had is a break of the low and then immediately break of the high right there. So technically, yes, we tapped into a daily zone. The 4-hourly is responding right now. So a lot of things could happen, right? A lot of things can happen. We can tap here, come in deeper, or we can just blast the floor, right? So I really don't know right now. It's very tough to predict. This is a very big zone. And usually when you have big zones, the market tends to come in, consolidate, gather liquidity, and then it starts shifting, right? So you're going to need a lot of time. So yeah, when it comes to the Aussies, I think they need some time, right? Aussie dollar, don't risk it going long. Wait on Monday, especially. AJ, also give it some time, right? Give it some time. Let's see how the Aussie is going to respond. If the Aussie goes long, you can try to maybe get a long in this one, trying to take it deeper into the zone. But I do think enough liquidity has been taken into this daily zone, right? So I do think we can also start flushing on this one. Did the hourly time frame shift? Yeah, the hourly time frame has shifted, right? There is the structure. It has shifted the hourly. So currently it's all about that battle between supply and demand, buyers and sellers. Who is going to prevail, right? And usually it's going to be the hard time frame that is going to prevail, and the daily is bearish. So I do think we can actually go short on this one. So let's see, but allow for Monday to play out, allow for the market to show you its hand, and then we strike. For the first time in a while, the NZD is not that weak, right? Compared to the Aussie, of course. We can see we had like 1 week of a nice pullback, which is like a huge wick. And then this week continued lower. But if you go back to the Aussie, like look at the Aussie had a bearish candle right there and just continues to drop massively, while the NZD is rather indecisive. So that's good. But yeah, this one has just been flushing for quite a while, and it's really right now tapping into this COVID extreme level right there. It's almost about to break it. So maybe that's why it's starting to chop around a little bit. But yeah, dropping onto the daily, I really think very hard to trade. Like Monday, a little bit bearish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just kind of a little pullback with this big wick on Thursday CPI. And right now it looks like it wants to continue lower, which is, yeah, of course, with the overall bearish bias. So yes, well, I'm pretty bearish on the NZDs, but yeah, if we dropped on the 4H, this is just not good price action. No. Like we had a little pullback right there. So technically it broke structure down there. What caused the break? This here we shifted bullish. So then of course you would like to try to go long from here, but you can see your long gets triggered and it chops all day. Then it stops you out. Then it goes up, breaks higher. So yeah, technically all the pairs are looking the same right now with this kind of short-term shift of structure, but they're just very bearish overall, right? It also went inside to grab a little bit of liquidity right there, which I consider this to be a liquidity grab, and tapping inside this big daily / weekly supply. So that could be the play. Did we also tap 50%? Let me just very quickly check that. Yep. Well, yeah, we kind of stopped right there, then expanded the range a little bit, but yes, we went above 50%, took liquidity. So this can very easily, like the Aussie, also Euro could do that. They can all very easily just break the low. Okay, so be careful, don't try to go long too much, right? Yeah, because we have this overall demand zone right now, and if we have like a 50-minute shift, you can potentially attempt doing this. But according to me, the best choice will be wait for the 4-hourly break, then wait for the 4-hourly pullback into this supply, or at least like towards 50%, and then potentially we strike with the hard time frames, short buys, and with aligned 4-hourly time frame as well. Okay, so that's NZD pretty much the same as the Aussie. Don't try too hard to go long on this one right now. Yeah, NJ, look at that bullish candle pullback, but this one has shifted bearish on the weekly. Right now we're pulling back to 50% on the weekly, which we're trying to tap into. But yeah, again, the JPYs, they don't always do that. Daily structure, daily structure is chopping because this is the low. Tapped, tried to push, failed, and tried to break, failed, and tries to so yeah, well, what we're simply having is a range, right? We're simply having a range right now on the daily, and yeah, the 4-hourly is gonna be mad again, like push, pull back, break, retest. Well, this this one actually got the break, got the retest, and if you actually took a long on this one, it would hit TP, it took out the high, right? Then it comes in again, smashes you, all right, makes this big leg, and then it pushes higher. Right now it's responding from this extreme, which could be like on the daily extreme, right? And it's responding. So yeah, currently again, like the 4-hourly is bullish, short term tapping into a daily bearish zone. So who is gonna prevail, right? You can see that this one is much stronger than this one, right? So we have that little bit of a divergence, right? So very curious to see how it's going to go out. I think the JPYs are going to be a little bit bullish because of UJ, which we're going to have a look in a bit. But I'm still very skeptical to go long on this one because it can just kind of keep rolling down. Maybe give a little bit of a pullback, but then at the end continue rolling down to the downside. Because again, overall, the NZD is bearish. Okay, so give this one some time as well. Currently, it's precisely in the middle. Right, it's in the middle of this range. Well, yeah, not entirely in the middle, but around the middle, and it's probably in the middle of this range, right? So I wouldn't say it's in a high probability position to be traded, so give it some time, okay? And of course, stay tuned for Tuesday, where we're gonna have a little update and see how the market has been developing so far. Well, look at that. USD JPY, we were kind of hinting towards having a little pullback, on a little bearish pullback, but no, this one just keeps going, right? This is 8 consecutive weeks of bullish price action, not a single pullback candle. So yeah, we just keep going. And I told you guys many times, wait, right? Wait on this one. Don't go short. So hopefully a lot of you are not burnt on going short. But yeah, pretty much Monday we opened, bullish day, Tuesday bullish day, Wednesday actually went for it, Thursday continued, and Friday, yeah, I just don't know what to say about UJ, right? So yeah, we had this like short-term shift. Then we had this supply. You can see the market came in once, 3, 4, 5 times, again. It just kept breaking it. Okay, but what I also showed you right there is that we had this 4-hourly shift of structure. We had this 4-hourly demand, so you should have long from here, 7th of October, but that was last week, right? So then we pulled back into this range right there. So it actually even has an opportunity on the 4H, right? This one on Tuesday, very nice. So this is a valid break right there. It just came back for a retest, continues. So I have nothing to say regarding UJ. I'm gonna try to spot like, this is a big candle, but then we stay within the range. So I'm gonna take this as my potential higher low, right? And if you were to draw a range, I'm gonna take it from here, this being the major low. Because yeah, it's not the best candle, that's the CPI candle, but it pulled back, and then you can see we have 1, 2, 3 candles in the range before we cause the break. So this is definitely kind of a valid range. If you go to the 1H, you're probably gonna have a nicer pullback right there. So yeah, nothing much to say, just keeps climbing. I don't know where it goes. It goes to the moon, but yeah, just wait for a pullback and keep longing this one if you're trading this pair. And the more it continues going higher, all the JPYs are going to be influenced as well, which is why, again, trading JPYs right now, because if you have like the Aussie flushing, but then you have UJ going up, then AJ is going to have a hard time, right? It's going to be indecisive in the middle. So not the best time to be trading JPYs right now. Focus on the major, use the JPY, just go long on this one. But yeah, we think right now it's already too late, right? It's very high, it should come down, but it just kept climbing. So keep following the 4H, don't go against the trend. And yeah, that's all I can say. Let's see how it plays out this week. Looking forward to another bullish week on this one. Let's have a look at USD CAD, which is going to the moon, right? So let's have a look what we have right there. So technically we had this pullback candle last week that created some sort of a base, which I would say it's a nice demand. We had like 3 massive bullish weeks, then a little bit of a slowdown, a base, and right now we continue going higher. So if we pull back towards this sort of zone, that could be a potential long opportunity. But we are tapping also into some sort of a region on the left from 2020. So that could pose a little bit of difficulty on UCAT to continue climbing higher. So very interesting positioning right now in terms of the weekly. Dropping onto the daily, we had that little pullback, then we broke up, then it looks like we broke down, but then we broke back up, right? And technically we're bullish right now on the daily, but just the daily, especially like the last few days, they don't give me much data right there. So 10th Monday, little bullish, indecision, huge spike CPI, and right now it looks like it wants to continue going higher. This one was a little bit of a daily demand right there, and I do think we spotted it also on the 4H on Tuesday. I had a brief look on Tuesday, so this is also another daily demand. But yeah, I would say this one, keep longing it. I do think we can go for at least this little zone, because if I also look in terms of liquidity, 1.4050, which is like around 200 pips away, we can keep climbing higher. And of course, as the dollar goes strong, by the way, I do not trade USD CAD. I'm not really familiar with it. It has been a heavily requested pair. Miri's favorite. That's why I do it. But yeah, I'm just looking at on the left of my screen. We can see that the CAD has also the same rate as the US. So that's a very interesting play out right there. Same interest rate. And again, we know that interest rates are usually what drives the currencies. So yeah, this one I would say it would be a little bit choppier, a little bit indecisive, but we also see that it just keeps climbing higher. So what we had on Tuesday is this little hourly demand zone right there. It tapped inside, and you can see if you actually took a long from here, this is the long I think I called, you would have hit TP because it first took out the high before the CPI. So if we actually look carefully at structure right now, there is the break of structure. What caused the break of structure? Well, we can even say that it's this low if you want to take the extreme, right? So let's say that this is a bearish shift according to me, because I mainly trade with market structure. So this is the bullish shift, this is the bearish shift. But then look at this, we have that pullback, and then this candle also stayed within the range, and then the next one took out the low. So to me, this is a 4-hourly break, right? And then of course, what caused that 4-hourly break? This. Then we see we have a bullish shift. We immediately have this demand zone right there. The market pulls back into demand and expands, right? So what is the most recent demand right now? It's this bearish candle. We can of course look like at a, no, okay, we don't have a nicer demand zone. But yeah, currently to me, the 4-hourly is shifting bullish. So what I will be looking for is for a pullback and a continuation higher. So let me know what you guys think. Yeah, so grab liquidity below right there, a nice long right there. New York session, you can see around 15 around New York Stock Exchange. This one starts to open up. London session is usually choppy, probably push. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking for a pullback into the zone, and then of course the pullback right there should also happen with a 50-minute shift, and then potentially we can continue going higher. So that's my UCAD analysis. I'm gonna start following on the pair as I do with gold. Let's see how it goes. Let's have a look at the pound. To me, this currency right now, like a pound, dollar, and GJ, are a little bit tough to trade right now. We also have kind of some strange developments within the UK. But overall weekly bearish time frame, we're tapping into weekly supply. We responded from it, but this week it's pure indecision, right? The wicks on both sides are kind of the same. The body is bullish. But yeah, indecision. So this one is looking for some liquidity. And yeah, well, pretty much what is happening with the pound right now is that we made all-time lows, right? So all-time lows, we had an immediate response, and right now the market is just kind of starting to compress a little bit. What I see right now is a little bit of a triangle happening. Yeah, this is, I never do this nowadays. This is how I started trading, with those triangle formations, but I wouldn't do it right now. I look at structure, but even the structure is unclean, especially on the daily. Like we have a push, a pullback. So the market is technically bearish right now. So the question is it pulling back right there for a lower high to flush lower, or is it gonna come in, take out this high as liquidity, right? And then shift lower. So this is what I would like to see. This is the daily, then transferring on to the 4H. Let's see. Well, And see what's happening. So from the top right there, we shifted structure to bearish, we went low, low, low. Then yeah, there is pretty much the early development. We had a push up, we had a push down. Then the market turns bullish. Right there, comes into a supply on the left as well. And yeah, well, currently, technically, this price is still bullish. There it broke. What caused the break? It's this. So as long as we remain above this, I'm gonna say that the 4-hourly is bullish so far, right? So what I'm looking for right now is, yeah, it looks like precisely the same price action we have on a lot of USD pairs, like EU, AU, NU as well. I will be looking to see how the market comes in within this zone and how it develops on the 15-minute, right? Maybe we get a long, who knows, right? But if we break below this zone, right, then to me the 4-hourly shifts bearish, and then I'm going to be looking for a pullback and continuation lower. Okay, so very simply, that's GU without complicating it too much. Daily is bearish, weekly is bearish, so of course shorts are the highest probability, but I really want to see the 4-hourly aligned to bearish in order for me to take it. So really, to me, in order to go short, this level needs to be broken right there. Okay, so let's wait for that. Let's see how it opens. And if we hold, of course, there could be an aggressive counter trend move, but it's not really counter trend. Why? Well, because right now the 4-hourly is bullish. So actually, according to my rules, I should be going long. GJ, yeah, GJ is just mad. Like massive move lower, massive move higher. Yeah, I don't know. This one also shifted on the daily, like you can see on GU. GU is currently right here, about to make a lower high. GJ blasted the roof, and it's coming into the absolute extreme right now. So tough price action. Well, daily looks more bullish to me, because if I'm careful, this one right there is a daily break. So this to me will be structure, and this one will be a daily bullish shift with pullback, higher low and higher high on the daily. So daily is overall bullish, and right now that could be our kind of range, right? So dropping onto the 4H, yeah, well, even 4H is bullish, right? So we broke above the 4-hourly. We have the same range as we have on GU, that little guy. But this little guy pretty much is within the big daily guy. So I would just take them both like this. But I wouldn't go short on GJ right now. Well, if this is your strategy and if you're trading from levels like this, that's fine, right? But to me, I always trade with the 4-hourly time frame. So right now the 4-hourly time frame is bullish to me. So and it's already kind of pulling back towards 50%, right? It already tapped inside this wicks, which are probably some sort of a range on the hourly and the 50-minute. Yeah, look at that range, tapped inside, and the 50-minute is even shifting bullish right now. So I do think GJ has a lot of power to the upside, so be careful with shorting this one. I'm gonna say it's long bias. The question is, are we gonna long from here? Are we gonna long from this guy, right? Or are we gonna come in even deeper towards the daily guy? Right? I would keep it to those two right now as well, because if we break below this one, then according to my rules, then the 4-hourly is gonna shift bearish. Okay, so if you're trading GJ, I'm long bias personally. Again, I'm not giving any signals, no financial advice, but if I was trading this pair, I would personally go long. Well, looking at the gold, it looks like it wants to shift bearish right now. So again, overall on the weekly, I always tell you higher time frames will always prevail. The weekly time frame was bearish, and yes, we tapped into a very important level right there on the left. What is this big line? It got glitched or something. But yes, we're tapping like around 50%, and pretty much the zone that we found out is this little boy. Right there, we tapped inside, responded, but the weekly is still bearish. We pulled back right there, and right now with this bearish engulfing candle, I find it hard to say that we're going long. Okay, so of course we had this recent shift, daily structure shift, forward structure shift, withdraw the range. We also tried to go long potentially from here, but the market disrespected that level and it's right now flushing. So to me, it doesn't really make sense to draw a demand right there and try to go long. It is possible, but again, the 4-hourly time frame, I do believe right now it's just purely bearish, right? So you can see like we have a pullback right there, broke structure, and even after the CPI, it formed a lower high, right? Break, retest, lower high, and it's flushing lower. Okay, so, but let's see how it responds from this guy. This is the last resort for potential longs, right? Last resort, so we tap inside, but the 4-hourly is completely bearish right now. We even have a new structure breakdown there. So if you try to find your lower high, yeah, I'm gonna take this one, like this buy, and then it's sort of, we had this candle, which is kind of funny, which is probably disrupting the whole price action right there with this 15-minute leg. But if I'm trading gold, this is what I would do, right? To pull back into the highs and try to go short from here and continuation lower. Because yes, sure, we're going to be tapping into a daily zone, but that does not mean anything to me, right? 4 hourly is bearish. We're responding from a weekly zone. And in this case, I would ignore the daily, right? Because the weekly is bearish, the 4 hour is right now bearish, so I trade with that momentum. So this is very simply my gold outlook. Let me know what you guys think. I'm personally looking for that pullback 1660 and a potential continuation lower. Are we gonna take out the lows? I don't know, but if the dollar continues to get stronger and maybe if we have another rate hike, 100% this one is gonna break. Well, there is no 100% in the market, let's say 99. But yeah, I would expect the continuation lower. So let's see. And of course, let me know your thoughts, right? But I do think all of you are short, but prove me wrong. All right, let's have a look at some indices finally. Well, an interesting week right now. I would say overall choppy, and we had like a little bit of a nice flush during CPI, but then the immediate reaction. So on the weekly time frame on US30, we are very nicely bearish, and right now I do believe we're about to get a little bit of a pullback before we continue dropping. So again, you know, my projections are around 28k, right? Because this is, yeah, the overall range, and pretty much 50% is the EQ. This is the mean value of price. So this is eventually where I would love to see price before maybe we go higher. But with everything that is happening right now, I don't think we're gonna be bullish in a bullish stock market for a while, right? I read a lot that we might actually have a stagnant period, stagnation for a couple of years, which is very scary, right? Because I really got used to this beautiful bullish market right in there. So I really hope it's not gonna be the case that we just start chopping around, right? Dropping onto the daily, let's have a look. We got pullback, push, break, retest, right? It actually held from here, and right now it pushed up and is just about to break the high, but we can see what is this overall. Well, it's an overall range, right? Nothing too major. And now if you drop to the void, you can see that here from Monday it was not tradable. Not really, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, chop, 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 CPI, expansion. So let's see, right? Right now, the biggest key to me is to see whether we're actually going to go hard. So I'm really interested to see how this one is going to work out, because we failed to break above this high, and right now we're pulling back. But again, the 4 hourly to me is bearish. Sorry, bullish right now. We broke the low, but then we broke the high, right? And we actually held from this zone. We did not take out the low right here, which remained intact. So yeah, I would pretty much look to see this high taken out, and probably we pull back a little bit higher right there. But of course, the market can very easily continue dropping lower. But this will be my analysis for US30 right now. I'm going to be dropping as soon as the market taps in right there. I'm going to be dropping to the 15-minute time frame, waiting for the development, waiting for some liquidity grabs, and then potentially going long. So let's see how this one is going to work out. I'm a bit skeptical of the long, right? Because we're in overall this bearish sentiment, but who knows, right? Who knows? Nasdaq as well, kind of a similar development, right? On the weekly time frame, it is actually very bearish. Is US30 okay? US30 is bearish, Nasdaq is bearish. Yeah, well, tech index is always very bearish, right? Daily time frame, yeah, Monday bearish, CPI continuing going lower, and yeah, not how do you trade this right there? It's just not clean, right? Not clean. Took out the low, then took out the high. So similar situation right now. We have this big kind of demand zone. So is it gonna hold or is it gonna break? Well, on the tech index, I'm gonna be a bit more careful. I usually don't trade Nasdaq. I don't like Nasdaq at all. Very volatile, very impulsive. It's usually gonna make a lot more liquidity grabs than the US30 and S&P. So really not a huge fan of this index. But yeah, let's see how it goes from here, right? But in terms of daily and weekly, absolutely bearish, so it can just continue dropping lower. Okay, so be careful with longing this this monster. S&P, my favorite one. Look at that, my projection. Very happy to see 35k tapped, and I bought precisely from 35k, but I didn't buy it as with lot size and stuff. I invested. Keep investing, but I also wish to actually day trade this one, because I really kind of I do macro analysis on this one, right? So pretty much 35k was a projection of mine. My next one is around I have to go to my other chart, but I think it's around here, 30k to 31, right? So this is the other projection I have, where I'm going to be buying big time if you pull back towards the zone. So mark my words, right? If you pull back towards here, buy big, because from here we can start expanding. Okay, again, not financial advice. But this is where I bought. So we had a nice response, right? A very nice response during that day. But again, we see that it starts to roll over. So are we going to have a bigger dip? Hopefully, because we can buy more, right? The more deeper it gets into the zone, the better buying opportunities we're going to have in terms of long-term wealth creation. But yes, right now, short-term shifted bullish. So again, similar to all the indices, looking to see how it's going to respond from here. But it just looks like a short-term liquidity gap on all those indices, like taking out these flat highs. So took out the lows, took out the highs. And right now, it's usually going to continue with the overall higher time frame trend. As you can see on the daily, we made that very nice big pullback above 50%, and we can just continue going short. Okay, so be very careful. We can see on the other side, extreme fear 21 right now. We were 21 one week ago, previous close was 24, so we keep dropping into that fearful state, and now you can see we're just at the lows. But again, we're so much below the 125 MA, right, which is usually a good time to buy. Right, again, we're making new lows, new 52-week lows. Right, they're very nice, and everything is just low. Right, so I would pretty much buy. This is something that I'm also gonna study, the treasury yield curve. It was introduced by my finance professor last Friday, and pretty much we had a look at like the bonds and the treasury yield curve. And usually when the bond rate or this one starts to decline downwards, this is bad news for the stock market, right? Because you can see the shorter term ones are actually offering a better rate than the long-term one. And usually it should be the opposite, right? But yeah, I'm not going to share anything regarding this because I don't understand it yet. But you can have a look at this, right? Since we have the crashes, right? The market was just dipping below this one, and then we had the crash, right? So, and in the COVID, we also just dipped right there a little bit below before expanding. So right now we're dipping in again. So very curious to see what's going to happen, but we can have another recession when it comes to this sort of indicator. So yes, those are the indices. The crypto, no thanks. I'm not looking at crypto right now, guys, just skipping them because nothing too much to mention, right? Nothing too much to mention. I'm still in this bankruptcy case with Celsius. They are developing a little bit, so hopefully I can get a portion of my money back. That would be great, but I just don't look at crypto right now. So this is how I'm gonna end it up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did in the comments. I always love reading the comments. I read every single one of them, so make sure to leave one. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for my Tuesday flow with the markets. I wish you an amazing weekend if you're watching this over the weekend, and I wish you a crushing week ahead of you. Q4 is already into the move, right? 2 weeks of October, so let's focus.